Good morning, and you needed your helmet to be at the Capitol yesterday. Tony Daunt was watching what's been going on. We talked to Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey a little bit earlier, and we also talked to Kyle Malin from MERS News about what happened. Senator Curtis Hertel Jr. coming up shortly. But from your perspective, Tony Daunt, there was a lot to cover there yesterday, and there were some people covering their heads and maybe their bottoms.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're back to the rough and tumble here. But, it was obvious we were headed that way over the last couple of weeks with the governor and her and her team and their, blatant disregard for the role of the legislature. I think what happened yesterday with the releasing or forwarding of those emails, private emails among staff, and negotiating kind of a way to handle these orders and this emergency declaration to the press is one of the lowest, most classless, thuggish things I've seen in a long time at the Capitol. And her and her team think that it's apparently okay to put those things forward to betray the trust of the people that are working on behalf of the people of Michigan in the form of the legislative leadership and legislators. And, if somebody from my team was to do something like that, to release an email, I'd fire them on the spot. And apparently for them, it's all a laughing matter and just goes to show how big and tough the governor is. And it's really unfortunate. And I think it's destroyed trust moving forward and be very unlikely to get anything productive done the rest of this year because of it.
Is it presumed the governor knew that they would make those emails public, and was there anything sensational in them?
I think, again, from somebody who manages an organization, your team does and acts in a way that they think you will appreciate and that you demonstrate to them. And so I find it very hard to believe that they would do that if they didn't have the blessing of the governor or knew that if they didn't have the kind of the go-ahead that they would receive cover when it happened. And, as I said, I think, a real leader would fire people who make such a decision like that unless they were behind it. And that's, again, it's really unfortunate. And, I think as we pointed out yesterday in a press release, and I think others have since then, this is a team that is stonewalling the release of information and emails related to a really outrageous awarding of a contract to a Democratic firm collecting data from people here in Michigan. They can't release that. They refuse to release that. But within minutes of a communication from Senate Majority Leader staff on the issue of these shutdown orders and how they can be part of the process, we've got emails floating around in the media. And I think it goes to show their kind of glib understanding of the problem and the process. And again, it's really absurd, and it's so unfortunate for how we move forward as a state on this.
Was there anything sensational in the emails? Were you able to read them?
From what I saw, no, it was nothing. It wasn't anything that you're like, oh gosh, how dare they ask this, or I can't believe they would say that, or anything.
What point were they trying to prove then?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the governor. I think the point I see coming from it is they think they are so in the right, and that they just have this kind of dictatorial feeling among themselves now that this power has gone to their head. And really, unfortunately, I think they've been protected within the media to many degrees throughout this process from that type of behavior, that they can, with impunity, put this stuff out there. And really, all the Senate staff was saying was, look, we would like to have a voice. We deserve a voice. We're a co-equal branch of government. And apparently that's too much to ask. And it's posturing, it's unhelpful, and it's, as I said, it's really damaging to the ability to get things done moving forward, because eventually the governor is not going to be able to just claim these emergency powers without end. That's the absurdity of all this. Do we really think that
But Tony, isn't it true that anybody elected governor doesn't consider them a co-leader with the House and Senate, right? They are executive. They sit above, at least in perception. Isn't that true?
That may be, but it's wrong. It's an incorrect understanding of our system and the legislature.
Do you think John Engler considered himself equal with the Senate Majority Leader and the House Speaker?
I think that would be a stretch to say that. But again, even though they may think that as executives, I think it's important that the legislature stand up for themselves and assert their authority and their prerogative and be part of this decision. And
they're trying, and the Senate Majority Leader says his spokesperson said he got the double middle finger from the governor's office. And what did you think? I was dying to know what you thought about having Ron Bieber at the meeting yesterday at the press conference with the microphone, the AFL-CIO president.
Again, it really is a testament to how how this has gone to the governor's head and her team's head, that they just apparently think they have this unlimited power and authority for as long as they care to keep it. And Ron Bieber goes up there, starts slamming on the legislature, this big political diatribe, and it does nothing to help move the ball forward on this crisis. And the legislature has been working behind the scenes with the governor, trying to get things moving forward to be part of the discussion. And I think, unfortunately, the Senate Majority Leader's, his statement was right on. It was like the governor got up and said, "Nah, basically up yours. And by the way, here's this guy who's going to talk and trash you for the next 15 minutes." And
they didn't. In terms of the media, they didn't get away with it with Chad Livengood, who writes in Cranes that in 1 hour, Whitmer shatters trust with the legislature, and that's an interesting position. And Tony Daunt certainly agrees. Michigan Freedom Fund. Google them up, contribute, and subscribe to the front lines of freedom. Thank you, sir. We'll keep in close touch.